Welcome back, Shalligators. Well, today we are talking about a topic that we shouldn't have to talk about. We shouldn't have to, but we do. And burying our head in the sand about it is not going to help. Domestic violence, toxic relationships, abusive partners. Yesterday, we talked about Evan Rachel Wood's awful nightmarish saga with ex-MARILYN Manson, and we talked about what to do if you have a friend going through something like that, how to help in the most effective way. And you guys shared so many stories in the comment section of what you did to help people that worked, what people did for you when you were in toxic relationships that worked. And it's important to remember that when we talk about toxic relationships, we're not just talking about the extremes of poor Evan Rachel Wood's experience of getting tied up and shocked with a cattle prod. We're talking about any sort of toxicity. But today, we're going to talk about what to do if you're in that position, right? Because, look, I hope no one watches this video. I hope nobody needs to watch this video. I hope this is my poorest performing video ever. That would make me happy because that means we're safe and we're comfortable and we're where we should be. But unfortunately, life just doesn't always turn out that way. So, this is a video to watch, even if you're not in this situation. I want you to have these tips in your back pocket, either to help yourself or to help other people, and just be aware. And like I said, even if you haven't experienced, I hope you haven't, these extreme examples of cruelty and abuse, I bet once we read through this list, there's going to be some things that kick up like, you know what? There were shades of that in my relationship. There's one point in particular that we're going to go through that is really good if you're even just dealing with like a fuckboy or a douchebag or a manipulative narcissist. And this can apply to friends too. We're going to go through it and we're going to cite some sources from doctors, what scientists have to say, because you know I'm a pop star, not a doctor. I'm not a domestic violence counselor, but we're going to give you some resources for domestic violence counseling in just a minute. But before we do, just want to remind you guys to follow me on Instagram at ShallonXO. You guys weighed in on this big time and I loved it. Also sign up for my new blog, Eat, Pray, Love. It's super raw and like, it's like my diary, but you guys, you know, it feels like something really great to share with you. And the response has been overwhelming. There's almost like too many people reading it. And I'm like, I don't want this many people reading my diary, but I did this to myself and I'm sticking it through. Also, if you want to look as menacing as you are, pick up this collaboration with Murder Apparel. I have a whole bunch of designs over there on their website. This one is Don't Tell Me to Smile. You want me to smile? How about that? You fucking like that? I love their looks. They're very sinister and menacing. And isn't that what we should be wearing today? Because we're going to talk about how to be a fucking bad bitch. We're going to talk how to reclaim ourselves, how to reclaim our safety, our sense of purpose, and how to expel these nightmare men out of our lives while preserving our life. So here's the domestic violence hotline. Please, if you're in the situation, reach out to them. They have actual plans, like playbooks on how to get you out of situations that are dangerous. And like, again, my refrain through this video, dangerous doesn't have to mean he's thrown me through a wall. He's thrown our kids off of a building. It can be he's financially controlling me. He's isolated me from my friends. He's made me quit my job. He's harassing me. He's stalking me. This is not a hotline where they're going to be like, whoa, that sounds like it sucks. They're going to be like, okay, we got a resource here. We got a shelter there. We got a financial planner here. This is what they do. And this resource is here for us. Like there's no shame in using it. It's like feeling ashamed or going to urgent care or something, or like getting a broken arm set. Do you have an emotional component about that? No. There's something that's not working, that's broken, that's causing you pain, and God damn it, you're going to fix it because you're not the girl that stays in pain. None of us are. So I today am going to read from an article by Dr. Joni Johnston. She's a psychologist, and she has written a lot of articles on domestic violence, domestic abuse, and how to extricate yourself. And one that I love, I'm going to link it down below, but we're going to read from it. It's How to Leave a Violent Relationship. It's a really good kind of 360 compendium. And of course, there's so much to be said on this subject. So please don't think that this video is the end all be all of the advice, but this is a very good primer. This is a good sort of skeleton about how to leave. One thing I have to say, studies show that the 3 weeks after a woman leaves a violent man are the 3 most dangerous weeks of her entire life. She has a higher chance of getting killed than ever before, and they are high. Dr. Phil has said, because he's talked a lot about domestic violence, please look at some of his resources as well. He's like, when you get out, you need to go someplace. And it isn't your mama's house, okay? It's not your sister's, it's not your best friend, it's not the places he's obviously going to come looking for you. If for no other reason, do you want to lead a violent man to the people you love? I don't. I was in a situation, it wasn't violent, it was the end of our relationship, but it was very messy and it was frightening for me. I am not a woman accustomed to feeling frightened. It is a feeling that makes me feel ashamed. I am too strong for this. I am the sword and the shield. I protect other people. No one needs to protect me. I am the destroyer of worlds. So for someone to make me feel so vulnerable that I had to leave town and go to a cabin in the woods for a week, I wasn't happy about that. And this person did not understand the impact their behavior had. They weren't doing it on purpose, but they also were not considering what that does to a woman. And it put the relationship in such harsh perspective because I'm like, you don't understand what it's like to be a woman then. You have 2 older sisters, you're close with your mom, and yet you don't seem to have a fucking clue that calling me 300 times in 24 hours, driving by my place, would be pretty much terrifying. Veiled suicidal threats, veiled homicidal threats. You don't understand that would freak me out. And when I communicated that, he was like horrified. Oh my God, I can't believe, I'm so sorry, I would never hurt you. And you know what I said to his ass? You'd never hurt me? There's a lot of men in prison who said that and believed it. And there's a lot of dead girls who believed it too. No one is violent until they are. No one goes crazy until they do. And once that can of worm is open, there's just worms everywhere. You really can't unring that bell. And I have no intention of sitting there and watching a bunch of fucking worms. So I got out of that situation and, they can be as sorry as they wanted to. And I was like, you know what? I forgive you for this, but I can't forget it. And this is not something I can have in my life as a friend, nothing. I don't care how many friends we have in common. I don't care that we're in the same circle. This is not it. Nothing comes before my safety. Nothing. And that doesn't make me fearful. That makes me smart. That makes me strong. You look at someone walking down a freeway, are you like, you know what? They are just brave. They are unafraid. And that's the kind of lifestyle I want to lead. Nope. You're like, that's an idiot. That's an idiot with a death wish who clearly doesn't think they have anything to live for. I got a ton to live for, baby girl, and so do you. I love the out of doors. I still wear shoes. Safety is everything. So keep that in mind as we're going through this. So Dr. Johnston has 7 points. Number 1, don't go it alone. Whether or not you're ready to leave, you need emotional support. The more support you have, friends, internet, coworkers, church, family, domestic violence professionals, the more likely it is you'll be able to make a decision based on what you see and know is true instead of how you feel. I love this verbiage. What is true versus what you feel. We have been taught that perception is reality. There's that phrase, perception is reality. What I feel is true. I feel this way, so it's true. No, it isn't. I can feel confident I'm going to walk through that field barefoot. That isn't true. Like, that's not true that I'm going to walk through it barefoot and be fine. That's not true. Our feelings when we're with someone toxic are not true feelings. They're not our intuition brain. They're not our love brain. They're not our love tank is so full brain. They are manipulated, fear-based brain thoughts, okay? They are the thoughts that this abusive person wants you to have. Thoughts of isolation, thoughts of low self-esteem, worthlessness, being overwhelmed, being trapped. One of the things I said in the video yesterday about how to help someone who's in trouble, ask them what they need. Ask them what they need. Because when someone's in an abusive relationship, they don't get to have a voice. Whether it's Coke or Pepsi, pepperoni or no pepperoni. Where the fuck you're going to go to school? Who the fuck have you been with? You're going to do anal. They don't get a choice. You can give them a choice. You can give them a voice by saying, hey, what can I do for you? If we're in that situation, we got to dig deep and we have to be able to go to our tribe, our best friends, our family, whoever, and be like, I am in a bad situation and I don't know what to do. I guarantee you, your loved ones have been watching this fucking nightmare unfold and they have some sort of a plan all ready to go. All ready to go. They're like, thank God, we've been waiting for you to come to this conclusion. Now look, don't take that as an insult. Don't take that as an I told you so. Don't take that as anything embarrassing. Take that as love. Take that as love. When parents are waiting for their child to learn to walk. When the kid finally starts to walk and he's so proud of himself and he takes those steps, he's like, I'm doing it. The kid doesn't feel like embarrassed that everyone was waiting for him to learn to walk. He's proud of himself. He's like, here I am, the place you knew I could be. Fantastic. Let's go back to that. So if you don't know how to get out of this situation, which is what your abuser wants, they want you to be too tired to figure it out, overwhelmed, isolated, confused, focusing on those feelings instead of what you know is true. Say this to your loved ones. Say this to your tribe. Say, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to begin to get out of this. I don't know if I just move out tomorrow. I don't know if I bide my time and take 6 months and save all the money that I can. Talk to them. Get into some therapy. It is very difficult to do this alone. And a therapist might not give you the whole logistical details. Maybe your dad's going to do that. Maybe your cousins, maybe your coworkers. But a therapist is going to help you do the crucial work of untangling those manipulated thoughts to what is true and give you the confidence to propel you into that other level. And we talked in the other video about how to help someone, about how logistical roadblocks, calling your insurance. Well, what therapists are covered? How many times can I go? When can I get my first appointment? Ask your friends, hey, I am overwhelmed by this aspect of it. Can somebody do this for me? They are going to pull up for you. They're going to pull up for you. They are. You would be surprised. And sometimes reaching out to the people who know us best and asking for help is the hardest part because we want them to think of us as strong and capable and admirable and all this stuff. So sometimes I've found help from people who I wasn't that close to, newer friends, coworkers who are a little bit neutral, your boss, and be like, hey, I'm in this really bad situation. I really trust your opinion. And this is an important phrase to add. I know you're not going to think less of me. I know you're not going to judge me. Lead with your fear, because that's the fear we have. I'm ashamed. This is ridiculous. I feel so stupid for being so afraid. This is how abusers make us feel. Ashamed for looking at the writing on the wall. Oh, I don't want to see this. I don't want to see this. But if you tell someone, I know you're not going to judge me. It's human nature. It's a psychological truth that we want to rise to the opinions other people have of us, the positive ones, right? They're going to say, of course I'm not going to judge you. You need me to be here for you. You need me to be a hero. That's what I'm going to be. That pings someone's ego in a good way and it activates them and they're like, yes, I want to see myself as this hero in her life. Great. Fantastic. Embrace that. Number 2, expect your feelings to change. You don't have to hate someone before you leave him. We said this yesterday and we say this a lot. D's get degrees, right? That old phrase when you're in school, hey, D's get degrees. I got senioritis. I don't fucking care. We tend to think of like a toxic relationship or a relationship we have to leave as he's shocking me with a cattle prod. He's throwing me through a window. He's cutting the crotches out of all of my pants. Very into symbolism. No. Someone doesn't have to be an F in order to leave. They might be a D. Okay, well, they're a D, it's not that bad. No, I'm an A+ fucking student. I'm very well educated. I'm an A+ woman. So if you're even a C+ man, a B- man, no. You don't need to wait until it gets really bad to leave. No woman who has left a toxic man ever has looked back and said, I wish I'd stayed until he hit me. I wish I'd stayed until he'd killed the dog. I wish I'd stayed until he tried to pour boiling water on our toddler out of spite. I wish I'd stayed until he cut up my wedding dress. No one has said that. No one. And I know those are extreme examples, but look at our own lives. Have you ever been dating a douchebag, a fuckboy, and you finally got out of it? Were you ever like, man, I wish I'd stayed longer? No. Once that curse of obsession was lifted, you were like, why didn't I leave sooner? Why didn't I leave that toxic job sooner? Why didn't I cut off that shitty, jealous friend sooner? Why didn't I leave my boring hometown sooner? Why didn't I start working out sooner? No one wishes they'd started the right thing a little bit later. So don't wait to be in the state of absolute hate misery before you do something about it. So expect your feelings to change. It's normal for your feelings to swing wildly from anger to depression to love, especially if your ex suddenly decides he can't live without you and he sees the error in his ways. Trust me, this recovery will only last as long as it takes to get you back in his clutches. Accept all these feelings, but know that they are not reliable guides for what is best for you right now. Number 3, plan and pack to leave. Unfortunately, most women wait until there's a severely abusive incident before leaving. Take steps now to give yourself the option to escape. Options. Now, I know that what keeps so many women in abusive relationships is money. Absolutely. I mean, I know girls who've been in relationships that they weren't abusive at all. She was just tired of being with her boyfriend. You know, they just weren't having sex and whatever, run-of-the-mill thing. But she couldn't afford to move out. And so they stayed in this apartment, they stayed together, and their feelings like sort of devolved and they became resentful. We see that on the micro, right? Obviously, it's true on the macro. And abusers know this. They want to keep you poor. They're going to go out and buy that big brand new car so that now your savings is empty. Oh, where are you going to go, bitch? That's so funny. That's crazy. They're going to watch your bank account like a fucking hawk. You need to go take some real steps. One of the first places you need to go after the therapist and after the domestic violence places and after your tribe is the bank. Sit down with a loan officer and level with them. Hey, I'm in an abusive marriage. I can't afford to leave. What kind of loan can I get? We talked about this in yesterday's video. Loans are very subjective. It comes down to the loan officer and what they think. Maybe I have a truck I can put up for collateral. Maybe I can show you my pay stub, show you I'm good for it. And they might be like, you know what? I've been in that situation. My sister was in that situation. I'm going to do something to help you. You never know. This is the thing though. You have to have that data. And if the concept of acquiring that data is overwhelming, enlist your tribe. Look at your friends. I bet you have one friend who's great with money. Maybe she's an accountant. Be like, Katie, I need your help. You have another friend who's a real estate agent. Alicia, I need your help finding some place to live. Another friend who's super organized. She's no nonsense. Kim, I need you to come in my house, pack the bag, find my documents, and just store it back behind the vacuum cleaner so it's ready. Failing to plan is planning to fail. It's a cliche, but it endures for a reason. You want to have options so that if something's really bad, if he's thrown that vase against the wall and you're like, holy shit, I gotta go, you have a bag to grab and gone. I keep a bag in my truck that's in my emergency bag where if God forbid the truck flips, I'm stuck in the snow, whatever, I have dog food in case Cowboy's with me. I have a flashlight. It's a bug out bag. I have a doomsday bag in my car at all times. I also have a glam bag, an outfit, a hairbrush, a full thing of makeup, jewelry in case like there's a last minute date, there's a last minute party I want to go on. I got a Tinder match. And then we are ready to go. I am ready for things. And because of that, I feel freedom in my life and I feel power because I know I have options. So look at how you can create options in a situation that might seem not optionable. Get things like your social security card. It might take a few weeks to order, okay? Start the planning there. Make copies of everything. Copies of the deed to your house, the deed to your car. In case he tries to claim, no, this is my house, this is my car. You have literal receipts. Make these things, pack them up, store them away. Do not take things that are going to be missed. Don't take the TV off the wall, right? He's going to notice that. It's a quiet annexing of things that are important to you. This one is my favorite one, number 4. Be realistic when ending it. Ending a violent relationship, I want you to listen to every fucking word of this. Ending a violent relationship is not the same as ending a healthy relationship. You cannot be friends. You cannot trust him. You cannot consider his feelings when you tell him it's over. So if you feel like you have to break up in person, do it in a public place, bring a cell phone, ask a friend to wait for you nearby. Even better, do it via email or telephone to give yourself some distance for safety. Also, give your family and friends a heads up in case he tries to contact you through them. It is not the same as ending a healthy relationship. When I was in that situation I told you about, one of my guy friends was like, well, just have a talk with him. He needs closure. I said he forfeited the right to closure when he decided to behave the way that he did. And it was a decision. It was a decision. I get that he's in pain. I've been in pain lots of times in my life. I'm 1,000 years old, okay? I've never behaved like that. I've never said the things that he said. I never did the things that he did. He does not earn anything from me. I owe him nothing. Nothing. And I will not treat this person as though he's a healthy person. I will not deal with him as though he's a healthy person. I will deal with him as though he is a rabid animal. You know? And if that makes me the monster, oh, she just ghosted me. She wouldn't talk to me. You're goddamn right I wouldn't. Because I would rather be alive and impolite than a dead polite girl. There's plenty of them in the ground, and we're not going to be one of them. and it's fucked up. Number 5, once you leave, refuse any contact. Think of no contact as cold turkey. Don't respond to texts or phone calls. Don't meet with him to discuss the reasons for the breakup just to say goodbye or because he needs closure. This sentence. He knows the reasons you broke up. He knows. Do you think abusive people truly believe that you're happy in this relationship? No. Do you know why they don't believe it? Because they don't fucking care. They don't care. Girl, he doesn't care if you're happy. He knows you're miserable. He's made you that way on purpose. And that's what's so hard. It's hard for us to get our head around the fact that this is purposeful, right? He just didn't mean to act like that. He just lost control. You're telling me that a man legitimately thinks it's okay to hit a woman, to smash up her house, to threaten her, to slander her, to stalk her? No. He knows that that's bad. If he's over the age of 13, he's gotten that memo, right? He knows why you're leaving. You don't owe him anything. And any sort of emotional heartstrings that he's tugging at are manipulation. The devil never lets you just walk out of hell. Okay? Create a list of safe spaces, safe people. Avoid any habits or routines where you have to go or be alone. This is from number 6. Develop a safety plan that includes worst case scenarios. He'd never hurt me. He'll calm down. What do we say? There's a lot of dead girls that have said that. You're not going to be one of them. Again, I'd rather err on the side of caution and look goofy as fuck, paranoid and dramatic. Fine, that's great. I will be a dramatic, alive person. I will see the sun come up the next day because I'm so crazy and paranoid. Who calls you crazy? What is that? What does that mean? What does that mean? That means your boundaries are insane. You have a boundary that you don't want someone to call you 300 times a day? Who doesn't like our boundaries? The people who benefit from us having none at all. Your loved ones aren't going to say that you're being crazy and paranoid. Only the abuser is going to say that. I want to read the sentence again. Avoid habits or routines where you are going to be alone and switch your social networking sites to private. This is micro and macro advice, right? And we mean that like macro is in super abusive situations and simply guys you just want to get away from. I can't tell you how many of you I talk to, you submit questions to me, which you can on my website, shallonlester.com, where it's like, I don't know, my ex just won't leave me alone. He's always DMing me. Which means you haven't blocked him? Girl. It's like, I don't know, there's people always on my property. They walk right up to the door. Did you build a fence? Well, no. Did you put up a sign? No. Okay, then. That's why those things exist. That's why block exists. That's why fences and hedges and moats and battering rams exist. This is why those things exist, okay? And if you're not taking steps to do it, why? You need to ask yourself why. Why do you keep letting this in? Do you like the drama? I mean, right? People who stay sometimes in toxic relationships, and I don't mean physically abusive ones because those are, so complicated and there's the financial aspect. But when we stay in just run-of-the-mill shitty dude relationships, chronically, over and over, we go back over and over, what emotional payout are we getting? And this emotional payout doesn't mean like, I'm so happy. It means familiarity. Does this remind you of your parents' relationship? So this is what's normal to you and you think this is just how love goes. So you gravitate towards it. So you feel like, okay, well, I'm doing what I should in the world because this is what's been modeled for me. Do you feel deeply unworthy and being with someone who tells you that you're unworthy and worthless? You're like, oh, I know. Okay, no, now that satisfies what I think about myself. And humans would rather feel right than happy. If we have the fundamental belief we have no value, we're going to gravitate towards situations that prove that because we don't want to feel crazy. We would rather feel not crazy than change that inner tape loop and feel happy because it's the path of least resistance. It takes work to revamp ourselves from the inside out. Say, no, I am worthy and I want to be genuinely happy. That takes work. It takes therapy. It takes coming clean to your tribe about how you're feeling and what you need. It takes packing that bag. It takes not going out for 3 months, saving your money and getting the fuck out of that abusive relationship. That's work. It's tough and it's unfair. And that's what this number 6 pings up for me. How unfair all this is. Block people. Change your route to work. Don't be alone. Avoid the places he knows you're going to be. You go to tap every Wednesday night. Don't go to tap every Wednesday. Switch it up. And it's like, how much more can you take from me? Why do I have to give, like the one, I love tap class. Why do I have to give that up? You don't have to give it up forever. None of this is permanent, but you do have to give it up in service of safety. You can be right and you can be dead right. So look at your life and acknowledge the unfairness of how you're going to have to change. You might have to live in a shitty little apartment for 6 months. You might have to give up things that you loved. You might not be able to go to that bachelorette party because now you can't afford it, right? You are building towards a better future, and that's scary, and it takes work. Going out of our comfort zone, and remember, comfort zones can be bad. They can be full of bad things, toxic people and relationships. And ascending into a new level is always scary. Back to that example of the kid learning to walk. I'm sure you were plenty scared back then, but you just did it. Learning to drive is scary. Buying a house is scary. Having sex for the first time is scary. Going to college is scary. Starting middle school. But we do it because we know that there's something there. And usually with those things, we can see what it is. I know people who drive. I want to drive too. Everyone's in college. I'm going to go to college. I know what sex is. Looks like awesome fun, right? Looks like fun. We can't see what that next plateau is when we're in an abusive relationship. That's the point. That's what they want. Who's going to love you? Where are you going to fucking go? You're going to live on your own? You can't even make an omelet, you stupid bitch. Learn to make an omelet, right? This person is keeping you small because then you're a possession, you're in control. It's time for you to be big and brave. Number 7. Woo! Arm yourself with data. Maybe also a gun. That's just my own advice. Get a referral for an attorney or legal advocate. Educate yourself about restraining orders. Save any threatening emails, texts, or letters. Instead of changing your phone number, get an alternative number that you give out to friends and let your old one be answered by a message machine. Not only does this automatically save the message, it gives the abuser the illusion that this is still your phone number. Ooh, that is some good ass advice. It's true that like, okay, I know I said like, why haven't you blocked these people? But sometimes you need to collect data. This is great. Get a little burner phone. You can actually get a whole other phone. I remember I partnered with this brand a few weeks ago. It's called Hushed. It's this app that you can get. It has its own separate email inbox and everything. It's your own private phone number. You can give it to your friends, and your other phone number like has nothing to do with it. It's completely secure and private. It's great. I have one because like I'm starting to date now, and I'm not just going to give like every dude I meet my actual phone number. That's bananas. So they're getting my Hushed number. So I'll put the link down there if you want to pick one up. It's like $25 for a lifetime number. It's great. And because you need to collect this data. And I understand that like checking your emails and maybe seeing these crazy things or stuff he's posting on Instagram is too much. Give your passwords to your best friend. You know, I had someone stalking me and it was too much for me to like look at these messages. I gave my password to my lawyer. I was like, you collect everything, you look at everything. You can log into my email for the rest of the time. I don't fucking care. I can't do this. But I knew what I couldn't do. And I got comfortable saying, I have reached my limit. I can't do this. I don't have it in me. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. It's not weakness, it's strength to know that like, look, I need to preserve my core self to fight this enemy. So I'm going to offload this. I'm going to offload that. That's a boss move, right? And it's time you started thinking of yourself as this. You're a general in battle. You're going to be strategic. No general fights the entire army himself. He's got troops. He deploys people who are good at things to do what they are fucking good at. And people in your life are good at things that can help you. And they want to because they love you. And you gotta love yourself. I wanna know what you guys have to say. Tell me other resources you have, other tips. If you've been in the situation you had to get out, how did it go? What are some things that you wish you could have done differently? What are some things you're like, hey, this made all the difference in the world? What did you see friends do? We will be back on Monday with finally the Shallywood Movie Club update. Death Becomes Her. I'll see you later, Shalligators.